Hello and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my Candid with Cancer series. I'm going to keep this nice and short, nice and sweet, and let's get straight into Candid with Cancer. Candid with Cancer 18, my mental health. I don't know everything. I still don't. I never will. I'm not supposed to. And this goes back to my analogy about the endless road. It comes to me in different ways and at different times. I used to have this thought process where I wanted to be normal, where I would question everything that's gone on, and create a reality where it didn't happen. What would it have been like if I hadn't had cancer? What would I have been like if none of this had happened? What has the cancer done to me? What has it done to my development? Not only being in the hospital and the physical side, but what has the chemotherapy done to me mentally? What has it done to my hormones? What has the infertility done? I know there aren't answers to all of this, but there are questions, some new, some old. Questions that I would love to know the answers to, but I never will. And the older I get, and grow, and develop, more questions come to the forefront of my mind, constantly doubting whether it is a normal question or one arisen from my cancer. Everything I say to do with my health all stems into other parts of my life, whether that be direct or indirectly to the cancer. The way I sometimes look at it is that there is a Venn diagram, and then within that Venn diagram, there is another, and another, and another. An endless pit of Venn diagrams, linking everything to everything, unable to separate any of it, because if you take one piece away, it would all fall apart. I would carry this weight on my shoulders, the guilt of being alive, the guilt that I am alive and others aren't, survivor's guilt. And I would question myself, why am I alive? It turns into a vicious cycle, where I put pressure on myself to succeed. But what is succeeding? Everyone's definition of succeeding is different. But I'll interrogate myself. Should I be doing more in my life? And this continues to play with me. I'll get so worked up and the pressure on my shoulders becomes too much. I'll let the weight collapse on me. And then I question that I'm not doing anything. And I'm wasting my life away. And what would someone do for their son, daughter, mum, dad, for them to have a second chance? Just to see them for 5 minutes. To be able to give them one last hug. One last squeeze to tell them they love them one last time. They would give everything and anything. But I'd be too selfish wasting my life away, complaining about life, complaining about what I've been through, making excuses. And this is something I've always had to live with, and still do. I would then question myself whether even being on this planet is even worth it. Is it better if I was just dead? Just end it now. Stop it all. Even up the playing field, make it fair. And this will just continue to go round and round and round, torturing me. As though it was my fault. That I am the reason this happened, that I am the reason I am alive, and they're not. would eat away at me constantly with no give. Speaking to Bill, this was the first time I was finally able to admit the truth, and someone could give reasoning to me. After all these years of hiding it, questioning it, not believing it, and finding different excuses as for the reason of what was going on, because I didn't want to believe it. And that's that. I have signs of PTSD. So much of what I'd been feeling is because of it, because of what I had been through, and why I had struggled to understand it for so long. I still don't understand it, but at least I can make sense of it. And it's very much an umbrella term for me. The depression and the anxiety, having to avoid places, events, people, or things that bring back bad memories. The strong feelings of guilt, hopelessness and shame, the trouble sleeping and concentrating, the continued feeling of fear and anger, loss of interest in activities that I used to enjoy, frightening and unwanted thoughts, as well as a difficulty feeling emotion. These are the symptoms, but I can now connect the dots. There was a reasoning behind it all. I wasn't alone. It wasn't me just going crazy. And they had always been there, since the start, in different forms and at different times, maturing and growing with me to different parts of my life. And I still struggle with this today. It's not something that goes away. It's something you learn to live with. You adapt to it. You turn it from a negative to a positive, otherwise it consumes you. Like it did with me. I never had a choice in anything I did. I just had to say yes and go with it. Or I would have died. For me, I had to use that as a way of coping, a way just to accept how I was feeling. Because I didn't know there was another way. This led to me playing it down, as though everyone felt like this, or that I'm just never going to be able to fix it. I just have to live with it. I just have to suffer. It's the cards I had been dealt, and I just had to play along. I've been through stuff people will never. I just have to live with it. I just had to. Boom. It's the cards I've been dealt with, and I just had to play along. I've been through stuff people will never have to experience or see. People don't go through what I went through so young with all these consequences. What I have been through, what I have seen, what I have experienced. There are no books that teach you how to deal with it. And for many years, I was alone. That was episode 18 of Candid with Cancer. Only 2 to go now. I hope you're enjoying the series. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll stick around for the last 2. I'll see you next week.